off with a warm-up. How I like to warm up in the chair is to warm up the spine. So actually from here, I kind of do borrow from yoga, all right? So I'm gonna sit a little forward on the chair. Now, some folks, when they sit forward, they need support for their back. So that's where you put your yoga bolster. I'm looking the opposite side here, Amy. So here's the yoga bolster, and we could put it behind you, or a cushion, or your thick pillow. Placing the hands lightly on the thighs. On the inhale, I start to slide the hands up toward the groin. I'm forming a gentle little back bend, folks. You want to expand and open across, broaden across at the chest, lift the chin. Now on the exhale, I keep the chin up. This is spinal extension that I'm in. But now I'm going to head into spinal flexion by rounding the spine and lastly lowering the head down, spinal flexion. It's like doing a seated abdominal crunch. Now I'm going to show the modification for those of you with spine issues. Do this with me, not the flexion part. Inhale, you come into spinal extension. Exhale, you come to neutral. Got it, folks, with these spine issues. Otherwise, the rest of us, inhale, spinal extension. Exhale, spinal flexion, moving the head last. One more of each. Inhale, spinal extension. And exhaling into spinal flexion. I'm going to hold right here. Think you're drawing that belly button so far in, it's coming out your lower back. You're getting into the deepest of your core muscles. This would be your transverse abdominis. And now I slowly roll back up. So now we've already done spinal flexion and extension. I'm going to sit back into the chair all the way. And I'm going to grab the outer right leg of the chair. Amy, do you see this as my right arm?
Yeah, if I was looking at it, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
It's my right side.
Yes, perfect. Okay. So bringing the left hand to the waist, I'm going to roll the shoulder back. Now my sternum, hear that? My breastbone, that's facing toward the ceiling. I'm not trying to twist, folks. I'm not trying to do that. I just want to prevent collapsing the side organs, right? So we do that by keeping the sternum toward the ceiling. Then, if you have a shoulder issue, keep your hand on your waist. Otherwise, you start to bring the arm out and up. Now, maybe this is my range of motion. Maybe that's it. That's all I can go to. A lot of times people do this, thinking, I'm going to go further over. No, you're not, and you're going to hurt your shoulder more. So keep the elbow straight, and then you go to your range of motion. Holding here, it's called a lateral flexion. It's just basically a side bend. And then inhale, I turn that palm up toward the ceiling, grab an imaginary hook. Exhale, push down into your left heel, vigorously reach out to the left to return to center. And then you're going to take it over to the other side. Remember, we don't want to collapse those side organs. Sternum toward the ceiling, hand, waist, inhale. Exhale, take it up and over to whatever is your comfort zone on your shoulder. Lateral flexion, we're stretching those muscles between the ribs, the intercostals, responsible for 25% of your respiratory cycle, as well as the obliques of the waist right here. Basically responsible for turning and twisting the torso. Inhale, turn that palm up, grab a hook. Exhale, vigorously push down into the right foot. Reach out, come back to center. Just take a couple of nice big shoulder rolls. Now, sitting all the way back. Inhale, I open the arms out. Notice I looked to see my surrounding circumstance. Make sure your circumstance is safe. And exhale, I'm going to self-hug. And then what I do is called rock the baby. And basically just rotating the vertebral column. You want to maybe sit in a chair that doesn't have any arms, folks. It can make these movements easier. But if you have a balance issue, then just, stay in a chair that has some arms to it. So just doing it again here. Now I want to tie in all of the movements. We're going to do spinal flexion, extension, lateral flexion, and rotation. So still borrowing a little bit from yoga, bringing my legs wider apart, sitting forward. I'm going to do what's called a Sufi grind. Now, what is a Sufi grind? Well, here's my spinal extension. Here's my lateral flexion. Here's my spinal flexion, my lateral flexion, and of course, now I'm adding in rotation. You can do this as big or as small as you like, except for those of you with spine issues, you keep the movement small. But please don't go fast, folks. We want to have control over the movement. And then I'm going to reverse direction, tying in all the movements of the spine that we're doing today. Make sure that you're breathing and take your time with it, especially this kind of a movement. And then you can come up by either pushing into your hands to pull your torso forward and up, or rounding up. It is totally up to you. And then I toe, heel the feet together. So now we're going to start our first round of supersetting. This is going to consist of working the anterior side of the torso, your abdomen, right? Your abdominal muscles, and the posterior side, particularly the back muscles that are known as the spinal erectors. There's a lot of them, and what do? Well, they keep us erect, right? And actually, so does the abdominal area as well. So we're going to tie in these movements. This will be an excellent sequence for those of you with the spine issues, because I will never round down for the crunch. You're going to see how we do this. La-di-da. So we're going to bring the arms up, either in a what I call like a big W, or you can place one hand on top of the other behind your head. Either arm position is fine. So I'm going to hold my arms here. I'm going to inhale. Then on the exhale, I start to go back into the chair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is spine extension. Inhale, exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming to neutral is flexion without going deep into it. Inhale, exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 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 Don't eat before you do this, folks. Inhale, exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 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 I'm really pushing down into my feet. 2 more rounds. Inhale, exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm feeling it. Inhale, exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold here for the moment. Lower the arms down, and you also get a workout on those shoulders, the deltoid muscles. These you want strong because you want to grab those cans of beans and pull them out of the high shelf on your cupboard. You want to be strong here. So now I'm going to take the next step to level it up. You don't have to, but I want to give it a shot. So I'm going to use my bolster, because in essence, I'm going to create more distance now to travel for both the spine extension and returning to neutral, which is a flexion, just not a hyperflexion, okay? So I'm going to take it. I'm going to try it this way this time. What the heck? Why not? So inhale. Here we go. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Inhale. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to neutral. Inhale, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, exhale, push down, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, exhale, 1, 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 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more rounds of each. Inhale, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to get into that lower belly, Amy? This is the way to do it.
Absolutely. And the arms too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Inhale, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, exhale, last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh la la.
Ooh.
Shoulders again. So let's take some shoulder rolls. Show them a little bit of love. And now to release the work, because we're not going to do a cool down, I'm going to tie in stretches and relaxations after each grouping. All right. So I'm going to come a little forward. I'm going for that Sufi grind because, oh, it feels so good after these 2 exercises. You know, and this is what I mean by a small movement. There's nothing wrong with it as long as you tie in all of the movements of the spine. You will get the benefit. Now I'm going to reverse direction. The bolster really makes the chair like a real nice piece of equipment. And one more. So I'm going to keep the bolster here for the next round, or at least the next part of a warm-up. Let me put it that way. Just want to make sure it doesn't fall through. We got it. All right. So now I want to warm up your hip joint. This is the acetabulo-femoral joint, also known as the coxal joint. So either one hand on top of the other to lift, or interlock your fingers to lift your leg. Typically, well, it's not for everybody, but for some people, we're finding that when they interlock their fingers, if you're medicated for hypertension and you're doing something like lifting weight like that, you might slightly elevate the blood pressure a little bit. I'm just bringing your attention to that. That's all. I am going to interlock the fingers, but I'm going to bring them to my right leg. So now I want to make sure my ankle, my knee, my hip joint are in the same line as each other. I'm interlocking. I push down on the left to lift the right, okay? So from here, I'm going to make a hip circle. Get some nice blood flow into that hip socket, acetabulo-femoral joint. And then I'm going to reverse direction. Now, do you need to touch the floor when you do this? No, you can make it small, but I don't want to see this. Oh no, sit up tall. I see a lot of people do that. And now come back to center. And we're going to do gentle knee swings, tibiofemoral joint at the knee. Now let's go down toward the ankle. So it's called, anatomically, it's called plantar flexion, which people point. All right, they say point in class. Or dorsiflexion, or flex. All right, so we're going to plantar flex, then dorsiflex. Plantar flex, dorsiflex. One more of each, plantar flex, dorsiflex. I'm going to make circles with the ankle slowly. Now, men, you typically do stuff like this because your ankles are tight, right? So no, I want you to isolate and make an uppercase O with your ankle. Let's reverse direction. You might feel or hear a little snap, crack, pop. Now your arms, your biceps are working because you're holding up your whole weight of your leg and your thigh. And let's take the other side, lining up, push down to lift other side. And just checking my circumstance, make circles. Nice. And reverse direction. It's just kind of a juicy feeling here. And then back to center. Here we go, knee swings. And then point, flex, plantar flex, dorsiflex, plantar flex, dorsiflex. Just a couple more. You will feel this on the shin, which is a good thing. And whoa, this ankle's feeling it. Lovely. And reverse direction. Let's try two more. I can hear my own snap, crackle, pop. And lower it down. Maybe shake out those hands a little bit. Now, Amy, this is the one where I'm going to pull the chair back a bit, all right? Because I want you to see my sneakers when I do this. And let me just pull out those loops that got caught there. Okay. And the blocks. There we go. All right. This should, when I have the blocks out in front with the foot lifted, I think you'll be able to, maybe not, I didn't go far enough back. Okay, here we go. How's that? You see the sole of the foot?
I can see this. I can see your soul, Angela.
You got my soul, baby. And that's why I've got these sneakers. I like them because of all the colors on them and especially on the soles. All right, so now we're going to train the thighs here, okay? And this is going to be a straight leg raise. So you just stack a couple of books, what have you. Just be careful of slip slide type stuff. So I'm going to hold on to this seat. Hold it on. You push down in the opposite foot and you lift here. And you tap down. You exhale to lift, you inhale to lower. Now, maybe if you want to level up, you don't tap down. But if you're going to cramp at the thigh, you tap down because it can happen. Belly button is in. Oh, I'm feeling it. And up and then down. That was 8. Let's change sides, move the blocks over. Straight leg raises. Belly button in. Level up by not tapping down. You can level up on one and then lower down on the other. It's okay. You can alternate like that. That's how you get stronger. I'm pushing down on my right to lift my left. One more. Good. And lower down. Here we go. Now, I'm not supersetting with another exercise. I'm supersetting with myself, right? With the legs and the thighs. So we're on the same exercise going back to back. Here we go. And you might find that you get more range of motion on the second round because it's nice and warmed up. Push down on the left to lift the right. Uno más. And down. And we take it over to the other side. Start to sweat. Push down on the right to lift the left. Leveling up by not touching the block, but occasionally if you need to tap down, that's okay. Want to keep that chest up. That's why I do like the bolster behind me, because otherwise I know I would want to like collapse down a little bit. I would want to round down. We don't want that to happen. Uno más. Woo. Exhale and down. La-di-da. So I'm going to put the blocks underneath here for the moment. I'm going to teach you a massage pack on how to release the lactic acid that will get accumulated in the muscles after you strength train. Don't be afraid of it. It's a natural process. So these are soft fists. You see how like just soft wrists, soft fists. I'm not like fighting mad or anything like that. And I'm going to start to apply a percussive movement to my thighs. I'm not pounding my flesh, folks. Not like that. But if you are medicated with blood thinners, don't do this because tomorrow you'll wake up black and blue and you're not going to like me. So what you do is you take your fingertips and then you lightly tap, all right? And that's how you can release the lactic acid. It's also, by the way, excellent for what's called hematopoiesis, and it helps with the production of red blood cells that come from the long bone. What does that help? Osteoporosis, my friends. So it's a little hack. All right. So now we've done the thighs that way. Now I'm going to remove the bolster for the next round. This is where we're going to use our exercise loop as well as our Pilates ring. Or you can keep your cushion if you don't have a Pilates ring. So I'm going to take the Pilates ring coming forward. So we're going to work abduction and adduction. Well, technically, adduction first, which means going in toward the midline of the body. And then we're going to do abduction, going away from the midline of the body. I'm sitting forward. If you need the bolster behind you for support, use it. Placing the Pilates ring between the fleshy part of the thigh. And I got plenty of that, so this is good. This will work. So don't be afraid to break this thing. It really won't break. I mean, unless you have one that's very, very old. I wouldn't use a really super old one, all right? So here we go. Exhale, squeeze. 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. Small release. Small release is the operative word, okay? Small. Exhale, squeeze. 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. Small release. Sit up tall. Exhale, squeeze. 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. Small release. Exhale, squeeze. 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. Small release. Exhale, squeeze. 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. Small release. Exhale, squeeze. 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. Small release. 3 more. Exhale, squeeze. 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. Small release. Exhale, squeeze. 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. Small release. 1 more. Exhale, squeeze. 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. And let it release. Now, you want to take your exercise loop. I'm going to use 2 doubled up. I have a black and a purple. Now, here's the thing, Amy, about exercise loops, bands, tubing, monster cords. They're all typically made from latex. So if you have a latex allergy, you need to pay attention to this, all right? So you want to look for either non-latex or latex-free. So I'm going to place these loops over my shoes.
And one other thing that I learned recently is that some of these bands come in 2 different lengths. Like, I'm a petite woman, and I wouldn't be using the same length as somebody much taller than me, right?
Not the loops, Amy, not the loops. What you're thinking of are the bands.
No,
So,
I was talking about the loops, actually.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I mean, imagine that I have them between, like what you're doing now, but
okay.
if I'm trying to kick my leg up or something, somebody have a longer leg. Well, that's what I noticed, but go ahead, continue.
Well, but maybe there is a difference a little bit in the manufacturers.
Yeah.
There might be, like maybe one is an inch longer or something like that. So
Yeah,
I just
that's
know
probably
more.
what it is.
I know more about the lengths of the bands that have, that are cut off and have a beginning and an end, so to speak. Okay, so now we're going to sit back in the chair. I brought the loop just below the knee. Okay, I put the purple one on the outside on purpose so you can see. Here's my kneecap up here. We don't want that loop anywhere near the kneecap because you can malalign the kneecap. It's not officially attached. It's called the patella, and it kind of floats around within the knee joint. So we don't want to put any pressure on the kneecap. So I'm going to sit back into the chair. I'm going to hold on, and I'm going to lift the legs. Now you can see the bottoms of my feet, right?
Yes.
And exhale, open. 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. Small release. Folks, wider is not better. Do not go any wider than the seat of the chair. We want to work the proper muscles. Otherwise, you're bypassing them. Inhale, exhale, open. 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. small release. Exhale, open, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Make sure you inhale, then exhale, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, open, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, open, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, open, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, open, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Two more. Exhale, open, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Excuse me, I am feeling this. Exhale, open, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, and gently release it. Now, I'm not going to take them off. I'm just going to slide them down to my ankles. Grab my Pilates ring, sit it forward, and here we go. Exhale, squeeze, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, squeeze, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, squeeze it, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Make sure that chest is up. Exhale, squeeze, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, squeeze, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, squeeze, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, squeeze, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. One more. Exhale, squeeze, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, easy as you open. Now, if you really want to level up, you can do this down by the ankles, folks. I have 2 loops. I'm going to stay up here because when I do try to level up with 2 loops, I don't go anywhere at all when I have the legs lifted. So here we go. Take them up, dorsiflex the feet, and open 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, open 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, open 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, open 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, open 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, open 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, open 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Two more. Exhale, open 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, small release. Exhale, open 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, and easy as you set them down. Now we're going to stretch them out. So this stretch that we're going to do, I'm going to teach those of you who have osteoporosis or had a hip replacement how to do a modification. This one is the modification for you because the one I'm going to teach everybody else is a complete and total contraindication for osteoporosis and hip replacement. So I'm going to sit a little further back in the chair. The block is going to be inside of my left ankle. My outside of my right foot will rest on the block. Now, maybe this is too much for some of you, so you need to perhaps roll up a towel underneath you or a little pillow, all right? But where we're going to go from here is into the number 4 stretch, folks. So we're looking at ankle, knee, hip joint alignment. I'm sitting back into the chair. This foot fully, you can see the sole of the sneaker, right? This foot is fully dorsiflexed or flexed. Hands on your inner thigh, not your inner knee. Get away from that thing. Inner thigh flesh, and I'm gently pushing down. This is an absolute contraindication for osteoporosis and hip replacement. If you've been told otherwise from your medical health care practitioner, so be it. Some allow it, but I cannot, in good conscience say that you should do this. I would not do it. I would do the modification. Now, if I want to go a little bit deeper, I can bend my elbows and take my right elbow into the right inner thigh flesh and kind of lean into it. It's so in the glute, I cannot even tell you. The lateral rotators. Woo. And a lot of times people who have sciatic or piriformis syndrome will feel issues there, right? These are nice stretches for it, but take it easy. Depends upon how much you're into the acute pain phase, then you back away. Now, maybe I want to go a little deeper. Maybe I'm feeling pretty good. I could actually even use my yoga block and lean over the leg. Holding here, chest is up. I'm using the block so I don't collapse, right? I'm pushing the ground away from me, so to speak. Big stretch on that right side. Woofa. And then I slowly come up. When I go to release, support your joint, support the knee, all right? So you know your modification, folks, for hip replacement and osteoporosis. You're gonna take it over to the other side, the number 4 stretch, lean back, hands to the thigh flesh, push down, shoulders are down. And breathe into it, lateral rotators, piriformis, sciatic, all that stuff is involved, so easy. For some, this is about all they can do. You don't want to go any further if you have some issues with the sciatic, but it is a nice stretch for you. But for those who can go deeper, elbow, left elbow, pushing into the thigh flesh. So this side is tighter for me. And I just have to kind of find the joy and go, it's okay. It's all right, honey. We're working on you. We're lubricating you. And then if I want to go further with it, use that block. Oh boy. But it does feel lovely, Amy. It does really feel great to stretch, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Woo.
We all need it.
Oh, we do. And especially in between the sets, you know?
Mhm.
And then I slowly come up, support the joint. I want to stretch out those inner thighs as well. So I'm going to go back to borrowing from yoga, legs wide, seated wide angle. I'm going to push open just to reopen all of that. But don't push if you have osteoporosis or hip replacement. Toe heel. All right, back to the bolster, my friends, okay? We're going to turn this chair into a workout bench for the next round. The next round is going to be your chest, pectoralis major in particular, by the clavicle, collarbone, down the sternum. You have the attachments along the ribs and their cartilage, underneath here, underneath these ribs, and then of course underneath the breast tissue, right? Typically, when you do work with the chest exercises, well, how they reflect activities of daily living would be when you push your grocery cart, especially a heavy one. If you're pushing open a super heavy door, if you're even pushing the stroller with your beautiful grandchildren. I don't want you hanging over. You ever see people when they shop like this, Amy, in the grocery store and they're all leaning over their cart? Now, I do understand sometimes there's some postural deviations that actually feel better in that position. However, if you don't have that, stand up and train those chest muscles so you can push that around. So, for those of you without any accessories, you can sit up, bring your arms like so, and come out in front here. Amy, you want me to come a little closer? I can come closer. Okay, they're coming, right? So, triceps, biceps. What activities of daily living do we do? Well, certainly if you're a swimmer, and down here in Florida, a lot of people swim. So if you swim, triceps are involved a lot. When you close the hood of your car or your trunk, you slam it down, that's tricep. However, they're also highly involved in when you do those same pushing movements, like that chest press, opening that door, pushing the carriage, pushing the shopping cart, that type of thing. So what I do like to show, because it covers both bicep and tricep, is when you vacuum clean in your house, right? So every time I go forward with the vacuum cleaner, it's tricep, it's front delt, and it's chest. But every time I pull it back, bicep, posterior deltoid, and back. Okay, so what else for biceps? Well, every time you bend down and pick up your beautiful little grandchild, your elbows are bent and your biceps are engaged. When I carry my beautiful T around, my gorgeous T for terrific, my cat, he is, I love him to death. I want to hug him, but it's all bicep. So that's that kind of movement. Every time you bend the elbow, you're recruiting your bicep muscles. So for the first exercise, upright, because I am going to do it bent over. It's technically called a bent over tricep kickback. But I'm going to show you one armed, because otherwise I'll slam it into the chair, the other arm. I want you to see what this looks like. So here's a tricep kickback upright. Now, what do you think people do here sometimes? They do this. They're not going any further back by jutting the head forward. So no forward head projection. Okay, you can also do the bent over if it's appropriate for your spine. So I'm going to start with that. Come a little forward here. And it's a tricep kickback. Same thing. Every time I extend, I lift the chin. Cervical and lumbar spines doing the same movement. Elbow is a hinge joint. One more. And slowly down. For the biceps, I chose today for you what's called Arnold curls. Yes, they're named after him, okay? So the reason why, well, you'll see when I have the weights in my hands, but the Arnold curl is done this way. Now, typically, we're used to doing biceps like this, right? Where the inner upper arm is grazing the outer upper rib. Well, that's all right. That's cool. I just want to level it up a little bit, because once you have the weight in your hands, you're going to feel your wrists and your forearm muscles all involved. And these are osteoporotic sites, which is why I chose this exercise for today's group. So I'm going to grab my 8-pounders here, sitting tall. So you really feel it, especially on that down phase for the forearm and wrists. You sit tall because there's a tendency to want to rock around or even to kind of roll down. There we go. It was a little uneven there. One more. Whoa. Now, easy when I bring it down. Easy, all right? So, grab my weights. Tricep kickback. I'm going to level up. Watch what happens with my wrist. So I'm turning those wrists toward the sky. See the palms? They're rotating. So I'm doing pronation and supination. When I was in the cast, Amy, I couldn't pronate, supinate, nothing. Because he had, they had it locked in the bone in such a certain direction. One more. And down. And for Arnold.
Thanks, Arnold.
Thanks, man. You brought us a good one. But I wanted it for the forearms and wrists. And Amy, I never got back the osteoporosis. So the
That's
bone,
right.
Yep, the bone density stayed put, even with the cast, because of all the working out. And the greens.
Yes.
The greens. One more. And easy on the down. So now I want you to think like your atlas. Push the walls away from you. Now, I'm not bringing them back here. Don't confuse them with that. Straight out, palms facing the walls. I want to get the entire length of the arm from the tendons of the finger muscles up the wrists, forearms, biceps, even front shoulder. Now, the hands are in a position called extension. This is flexion, but what I want is extension. That's what I'm having you do. And now bring the arms behind me. I'm sitting a little more forward so that I can interlock my fingers and draw the shoulder blades together. And that's another great way
to
stretch the pecs, the front delt, but to also get scapular retraction. Wonderful for that postural deviation. Woohoo. And now let's take a tricep stretch. Support the elbow. Take it all the way up. The higher up the bone, the olecranon process for your tricep, you get more tricep stretch. But I also like to think it's all coming up from the side of the body as well. The hand would be behind the head. Now, if you have an issue with that, you can step over to the wall and let the wall help. You can support your, bring your arm up the wall for support to get more of a stretch in that tricep. And then slowly down, other side. Oh, nice stretch. Just a couple more breaths. And then take it down. Let's shoulder roll it. And Amy, that's what I got for you today, my dear.
Oh, that was fabulous. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Until I see you guys again, remember, be strong, be well. Oh, wait, I got to do 2. I always do 2 when I'm with you. Be strong, be well, and be green. Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thank you, Angela. Mwah.
Sister.
Sister.
Now you can listen to Be Green with Amy expert interviews wherever you go. Listen while walking, meal prepping, or traveling. Find Be Green with Amy on Apple, Google, Alexa, Amazon, or virtually anywhere you find podcasts. Be strong, be well, and be green with Be Green with Amy.